Hello Exiles and welcome to another boss quick guide, in this one the Shaper. The Shaper can be found in his realm after destroying 4 of his guardians. The Hydra, the Minotaur, the Phoenix and the Chimera. Each of these drop a fragment, combine all 4 fragments in the map device to open a portal to the realm. This boss fight's a little weird compared to others as we don't actually face the boss at the very beginning. Instead, we run to the 4 corners of the cross to kill the random map bosses that are spawned in. Once the 4 map bosses are down, head back to the centre and through the portal into the Shaper's arena. You'll be joined here by Zana, who just happens to be the Shaper's daughter. After War and Peace from the Shaper, the fight will begin. In this, the first phase of the fight, he can use the following attacks. His projectile attack fires 3 golden orbs at you. These deal heavy cold damage. They also penetrate 25% of your cold resistance. Very few players will survive more than 1 or 2 hits with these balls. Normally these do move rather slowly and a movement skill will get you out of the way pretty quickly. You do want to keep an eye on the Shaper at all times. If he's surrounded in an orb of static, he's about to launch his Shaper Beam. This deals phenomenal tri-elemental damage over time and will kill most players in 1 to 2 seconds. The beam lasts for around 3 seconds and doesn't try and track you. During this time the Shaper is immobile. As soon as it goes up, get to one side of him or behind him and absolutely lay down damage. As the fight progresses, vortexes will come in from the side of the arena and chase you around. Upon making contact with you, these will drop on the floor, creating a damage over time vortex. These will stay in their current position until the end of the phase. Do note that they do not stack, so you want to get all the vortexes in one place if you can. The easiest way of losing this fight is to not manage these balls correctly. Periodically the Shaper will wrap himself in the void. This is the start of his teleport attack. The moment he vanishes, keep moving and don't stop. After a short period, a void will reopen where the player was once stood and will slam the ground. If you're moving, you will normally be out of the way when it slams. If you're not, the big circle on the ground marks the point where the Shaper is going to do massive damage. If you don't get out in time, you will probably die. The last of the Shaper's abilities in this phase sees him channel a portal. Monsters will spill out of this portal one at a time and will attack the player and Zana. Zana is only vulnerable to damage while this portal is up. On the other hand, however, the Shaper is completely invulnerable while this portal remains. If Zana does lose all her life to these monsters, she will sit out of the fight until she regains all her health. This is very, very bad, as she's the only thing that can really protect you from bullet hell, which we'll talk about in a little while. Luckily for you, all you've got to do to close the portal is kill enough monsters, so just kill them all before they can touch Zana. It should be noted that you don't want to drop a vortex under Zana's feet, as when she becomes vulnerable, she will take damage from that as well. Once the Shaper loses 50% of his health, he will banish you. While banished, you'll be teleported to a side area. In this area, you just need to find the boss at the end and kill him. Upon his death, a portal will appear, taking you back to the Shaper's arena. Do not dally here, Exile, as the longer you're away from the Shaper, the more life he will regenerate. He can regenerate up to 100% if you leave it long enough. You will definitely want a movement skill that can jump over ledges for this fight, otherwise he will gain far more health back than if you had one. Once you're back to the Shaper's arena, you'll start phase 2. In this phase, the Shaper can use any ability he's already used, with one addition, bullet hell. You'll know bullet hell's coming because Zana will say something like stay close and open a big force field. Get inside the force field and stay there until bullet hell finishes. Something can be rather annoying here, and that is vortexes can come in. You do not want a vortex to drop inside the force field. Compounding that, phase 2 is much worse because the vortexes are far more frequent. Your best course of action here is to try and avoid it by running around inside the force field. If you're feeling particularly daring, you can also flash out into it to drop it and then jump back in. This phase will be marked by the Shaper dropping to 25% life. Once he does, he will banish you again. Same trick as before, get back to him as quickly as possible. He can recharge up to 100% life, a minimum of 50 though. The boss at the end of this area will be slightly harder than the one before, but it's pretty much the same boss. Once the boss is downed, you will get a portal back to the Shaper's arena, which will start phase 3. This one is significantly more dangerous than the previous 2. Not because he has any new abilities, but because there's a clone of him that's invulnerable and can do all the abilities he can do at the same time. Just a word of warning, if you have the Maven witness this fight, the Shaper can get a regen so powerful that without the strongest of characters, you will not be able to kill him. Just take that into account. Once the Shaper reaches 0 life, he'll be defeated. He is guaranteed to drop either a fragment of knowledge or a fragment of shape upon death. He's also the only source of dropping Dying Sun and Starforged. And that's it, how to survive the Shaper fights. And with that, Exile, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.